Thousands of gun owners have converged on the American state of Virginia, most of them heavily armed, to protest against proposed tightening of the gun laws there. They claim their legal right to bear arms would be violated by the new gun laws. Alim Makbul reports from Virginia.
They came from all over the country, bearing arms. After this state, Virginia, decided it's going to try to push through what are very limited gun control measures.
Well, we're just on a regular street in downtown Richmond, Virginia, and yet almost everyone around us is carrying a handgun or a rifle, and that's all perfectly legal, but they're out here to say they won't allow that right to ever be taken away from them.
No one's even talking about that happening, though. Politicians here just want to introduce rules that would, for example, only allow people to buy one weapon a month and allow guns to be banned at some public events. That's too much for everyone here.
If it saves one life, is it worth it?
I mean, not if it's going to impede on my right to defend me and my family. That person who lost their life should have had a gun in their hand and should have taken their responsibility and had their Second Amendment and exercised it, and that would have saved their life.
You don't just get to say there's mass shootings. I think it accounts for less than 0.001% of the population, but we're going to make it a
thousands die as a result of, gun violence.
Hundreds of thousands die of heart failure. Like, come on.
For all the arms on the streets and all the fears of violence, the protest did pass off peacefully, but with the promise that if any other states try to introduce even the smallest of measures to curb gun ownership,
we are only begun to fight.
More shows of strength are to come. Alim Makbul, BBC News in Richmond, Virginia.
The divisions in the United States over gun control were in plain sight this evening, and so were some heavy-duty weapons. There was a big protest in Virginia over plans by the state government there to tighten controls. Nationally, of course, President Trump has supported the gun lobby since he was sworn in 3 years ago today. Tomorrow, his impeachment trial begins, which may help to decide whether he is sworn in again as president in exactly 1 year's time.
This was the response today to Virginia's attempt to enact tighter gun laws. It may look like a SWAT team or a military unit.
Has anybody here on the ground seen any kind of issues?
But they are in fact just regular citizens with legally purchased guns, exercising what they regard as their indispensable Second Amendment rights. Thousands of pro-gun activists, many drawn from militias from across America, descended on the state capitol, heavily armed and warning they would never surrender their weapons.
The recipe for civil war is the government violating the Constitution. That's the act of civil war. Nobody here really wants war. Nobody here, wants to be out fighting. But we're here to say that we are willing to fight for our rights if the government decides that that's what they want to do.
If the government wants revolution, then that's what they'll get. And if they don't, fine. They have nothing to fear from us. We're all law-abiding citizens. There's not a one here that's walking around as a criminal.
This is quite radical talk. I mean, you're talking about presumably precipitating civil war.
No, I'm not precipitating. They're precipitating.
Virginia now has a Democratic governor and state assembly wanting to limit gun purchases to one a month. And it may seek to ban semi-automatic weapons, like those being carried so openly today.
I not only want to protect myself against, a tyrannical government, but I also want to protect myself against intruders, home invaders. This is an equalizer for me.
But also weighing heavily on some of these activists is the trial of President Trump, a process that picks up steam tomorrow in Congress.
I believe that Donald Trump was put in by divine intervention. That's the honest to God truth.
So what's your message to the Senate as the trial gets underway this week?
They need to just dismiss it and throw it in the garbage. It's a joke. It's a waste of our taxpayer dollars.
Those here say they're making a stand, fearing that a new president will enact fresh gun laws. And certainly every Democratic candidate in the race is promising to do just that.
Talk about moral depravity. Our kids go to school, you send them off to school this September and they learn how to duck and cover. My God, No, I really think about it. What is the matter with us?
And as president, I will not be intimidated by the NRA.
So your message to a Democratic president who might want to enact
I don't have a
laws?
message for any Democrat or Republican or independent or any party affiliation. My only message is to any human being to violently use force against me to take any piece of property would be like I would defend myself.
What is clear is that many gun rights advocates see both the Democrats and impeachment as a growing threat. And as presidential politics and the Senate trial of Donald Trump converge, the divisions in America become ever more stark. Robert Moore, News at 10, in Richmond, Virginia.